New Year, everybody! It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, January 6th, 2024. Yes! And Y&R is kicking off 2024 with love, 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 love. And I love it. We had so much love this week. We had Victor and Nikki's long history of love highlighted. We had old loves reuniting like Danny and Cricket and Heather and Daniel and Adam and Sally and maybe even Sharon and Nick in the near future. We had Sharon stepping out of the way so that a new love can form between Summer and Chance too. I mean, there's just so much love, and I think love is a really nice way to ring in the new year, especially right after we literally rung in the new year with Michael and Lauren's beautiful re-wedding. So I feel really good right up top about 2024. I thought it was interesting that half the town was still awake and out and about after the stroke of midnight for New Year's Day. Adam and Sally were just kind of wandering around and happened upon each other in the empty jazz club while the wait staff was still picking up half-finished drinks and hors d'oeuvres and noisemakers. And we had Sharon and Esther cleaning up after the post-midnight coffee rush at Crimson Lights, and Nick's just so happened to stop by there. I mean, it's probably like 2 a.m. at that point, and Victoria and Cole were out to dinner. I can't believe an upscale establishment like the Athletic Club was even, like, the upstairs dining room was even open that late on New Year's Day, but Victoria and Cole were there. After, I guess, stopping by to see Claire, they came out to have a little something to eat. And then we also, of course, had Victor and Nikki staying up all night long. Victor wanting to stay awake with Nikki to help her cope since she couldn't sleep. She was trying to white-knuckle her way through the alcoholism. And I just really loved the moment when Victor said to Nikki, let's just talk. Let's just sit here and let's tell stories to each other. And Nikki said, don't you think that we've heard all of each other's stories by now, Victor? And he didn't care. He just wanted to listen and to talk and to pass the time to get her through. And I thought that that was really sweet and really indicative of a long-term relationship there. It's like, yeah, you've heard each other's stories 100 times before, but in a way it's almost like watching an old movie. You can do it over and over again and it's still good. You know, you can repeat it over the course of a lifetime and it's still good. But things were not always good between Victor and Nikki. We saw a couple of flashbacks of her previous relapses or episodes with her alcoholism, and Victor was not so happy in that first flashback when he was dumping out bottles of vodka and smashing bottles of vodka at the old ranch, and he was yelling at her. He was so fierce, and she was in the foreground holding her hands in her face and crying in tears, and it was intense. That was some drama. And then we had the second flashback of her sitting in the rehab center after Deacon and Maggie had teamed up to throw her off the wagon, and Maggie was going to take Victor and Deacon was going to take Nikki. That was a bad one. That was not, there was nothing glamorous or anything about that whole storyline. But it ended with the sweet moment of Victor, helping to helping her find the strength to get through. And she did make it through, and I think that Nikki will make it through again this time, maybe with some help from some friends like Lauren next week. It seems like every time Nikki leaves the house, she relapses, and in fact, she's gonna have to leave the house to do it now because Victor finally removed the liquor bar from the living room. That needed to happen. I'm so glad that bar is gone because I was done seeing her looking at it longingly and sneaking the drinks over there at the bar. We needed to see Victor take action on that, and he did. But she still managed to find a way to refill her flask. I mean, as soon as she left home, she tried going back to work. She said she was going to go back to work, but she ended up wandering to the society bar and trying to sneak some of the flask contents out of her purse and into her drink at the bar, which makes no sense to me because I don't understand why she wouldn't just, if she had a flask of vodka, why wouldn't she just go to the restroom to drink it? She did not need to have the extra hassle of putting it into the sparkling water with lime. Nikki's favorite drink is sparkling water with lime. In quotes. Yeah. It was just a totally unnecessary risk. And if she would have gone to the ladies' room, there would have been no chance of Nate being there. Catching her. I think Nikki's gonna have to be looking over her shoulder for Nate everywhere she goes for the rest of her life. He's always gonna be there. The moment that she tries to drink, Nate is just gonna materialize like a phantom to try to catch her. Oh my goodness. What a buzzkill. Literally. What a buzzkill. How dare he? How dare Nate be a caring person? Looking out for someone's well-being. We must fire that guy. I mean, I didn't even get a chance to comment on all of that because that was the week that I was sick. But it's like, what more evidence do you need that Nate's not all bad? I mean, I don't think he was genuinely trying to look out for Nikki, genuinely trying to get her some help. But this time, he unknowingly stopped Nikki from taking the drink, so she didn't drink this week. And she did attend an AA meeting, which was great. And she was saying all of the right words, and it seemed like all of the sentiment was there. And I bought it. I completely bought it. But then in the previews for next week, we see that it is not over. She is stumbling drunk, and Lauren sees her and is, I suppose, going to try to help her in some way. I mean, Neil used to be her sponsor. Maybe she needs a new sponsor. I don't know. Maybe it will be Audra. I kind of have a feeling that Audra is going to end up catching Nikki taking a drink sooner or later. I mean, I thought it was pretty great that we learned more about Audra's past this week, because Audra, we had some hints of it in the previous week, but she, this week, recognized the signs of Nikki's alcoholism and that she was struggling with it because, as Audra told us, her dad was an alcoholic who lost the battle, she said. And I'm not sure what that means exactly, if maybe it was a suicide, or maybe he had an alcohol-related medical condition, or, you know, the alcohol accelerated a medical condition, or maybe he had an accidental death while he was drinking. Lots of questions there that are unanswered. We just got a seed on that, but I really appreciated seeing the caring and supportive side of Audra, even if Nikki wasn't prepared at that time to accept it. I'm gonna need to see Claire have an outfit change soon. It's been days of her sitting in the bed, laying in the bed, sleeping in the bed with a boring outfit on, and I don't know, the visual of the boring outfit and the old books just doesn't do it for me. Couldn't Victoria have maybe picked some more modern books and brought her like a fresh outfit? Just to keep it visually interesting for me? Because she looked, you know, the inmate tan, totally bland. I mean, you know I love brown, you know I love beige, but I'm so bored by Claire's outfit. And the dust jackets on those books looked like the books must have been from like the 1800s or something. Victoria must have decided that Claire needed to read some classic literature. That will be real uplifting for the mental patient. Some classic literature. Come on, Victoria. Couldn't you not be a cool mom for once? Like, at least bring the girl a romance novel or a magazine or an MP3 player or something, because nobody needs to read Moby Dick while they're in the mental hospital. Come on. Elevate. I mean, those were great scenes, though. Victoria has been great in those scenes. And Cole, too. Surprisingly, just so much. Like, there's a lot of grit there. I mean, all of that hung on Victoria and Cole and those amazing performances. I felt like Mom and Dad were bringing the sentimentality there. They thought their daughter was dead, you know, and they did their best to cope with it at the time, and now here it is all being unearthed again, and they're having to deal with their own feelings about that while also trying to help their daughter deal with her feelings about it. It's heavy. And I did like hearing Claire's internal dialogue this week. She was talking to herself, and we overheard that she has a feeling that she's broken. She feels broken and toxic and undeserving of the compassion that she's receiving from Victoria and Cole right now. And so, in order to, I think, protect herself, she is hardening up, and she's pushing them away, and she actually kicked Victoria out of her room this week and told her to never come back again. But we know that's not going to happen. Victoria has taken a leave of absence from Newman Enterprises in order to give her full attention to Claire full time. And that conversation came as a result of talking to Sharon, by the way. That was really nice. Sharon is busy running a coffee house and a conglomerate and considering the future of her love life, but she has not closed the psychiatry lemonade stand forever. No, no, no. Sharon is still there to counsel a citizen in need. I was dying. Absolutely dying at the moment when Phyllis declared loudly that Summer needs to fight for Chance. Summer needs to go get her man, go get what she wants at any cost. Flash to Sharon sitting behind them on the back patio, having overheard the entire conversation. That was a surprise, a little bit of a shocky surprise that was sweet. It was sweet and sticky, and to me, that was the best moment of the week, for sure. And it was that moment that launched an entire episode of pretty great moments, exploring Sharon's decision to step aside and give Summer and Chance's love a chance to blossom. It seems so rare that we actually see somebody getting dumped on the show. Like, it was so real. It was so, like, oh, this is just real. This is just what's happening here. And I felt bad for Chance because he was ready to declare his future love for Sharon. Like, he said he could see them settling down together and having a future together. Because Chance is the marrying type, you know? I mean, he's the real Superman here. But Sharon is just not in that place right now. Sharon has loved and lost more times than we can count. And right now, she is just focused on her career. And Sharon knows that Summer wants him. Sharon knows that there's that chance there, that there's a girl out there that could possibly want the same things that he wants. And Summer asked Sharon point blank this week how serious she was about Chance. And that totally illuminated for Sharon the fact that, well, she didn't really know. You know, she hadn't really thought about it. She's been casually dating Chance for a while now, but felt no need to define it. But then along comes another contender for his affection, and suddenly there becomes a need to define it. And Chance walked in on that conversation, by the way. Summer and Sharon were talking about him, and Chance just instinctively knew that the hens were clucking about him. And I loved how unbothered he was about it all. I mean, he wrote it all off completely effortlessly, as if it were the most normal thing in the world to have two women clearly vying for you. Although, I don't know, then again, from Chance's perspective, he said he doesn't believe that Summer is into him in that way. Sharon laid it out for him, but he still didn't see it. But, I mean, I'm guessing that he's about to see it, probably sooner rather than later, because after talking with Phyllis and Daniel, Summer has realized that there's really no reason she should be being so magnanimous about the relationship with Sharon and Chance and respecting it and being such a good girl, and it's just driving her miserable anyway. There's no reason she shouldn't be able to throw her hat into the ring for Chance's affection if Chance and Sharon aren't really even that serious. So she's already decided she's going to make a play for him. And I don't know, just wait until she finds out that she basically has a clear path now. But what's the path now for Sharon? Because her dream, or I guess you could say her subconscious, maybe we should call it that, her subconscious was clear. Nick is the man that she has always wanted to be with. Everybody else was either a side note, or in the case of Adam, a dark temptation. Adam and Phyllis. Phyllis was the dark temptation for Nick. Adam was the dark temptation for Sharon, but surely they were to be together forever. They're truly meant to be. And yeah, sure, Nick cheated on her more than once and broke her heart in the truly most awful of ways. But he's a good man deep down. He's a Superman, in fact. Well, I was absolutely floored by the reenactment of their last almost wedding. We'll call it the almost wedding. And I remember it so well. As I said, it was about 5 years ago. And they were slated to be married. I mean, it was there. The Nick and Sharon reunion was within my grasp. And there was this throwaway moment where Nick totally misinterpreted seeing Sharon taking off her ring. He interpreted it, he saw her like through a window or something and interpreted it as her not gonna be marrying him. And rather than questioning her about it, asking any questions, he just ran right to Phyllis and slept with her. And of course, Nick is like, do it first, ask questions later. So he later realized that it was a misunderstanding with Sharon, and he tried to go through with the wedding anyway, but Sharon found out about it and busted them both out at the altar And yeah, Y&R probably could have just popped a flashback into the show to show us that, but the role of Phyllis was being played by Gina Tognoni at the time, so instead, we got this bizarre community theater style reenactment of the events, and I just thought it was totally unique and totally refreshing. I mean, it was so irreverent, almost defiant. Like, it was defying the rules of daytime, breaking the fourth wall, spinning it also out into almost like a sitcom genre with the laugh tracks placed over the whole thing. It was all very eerie and surreal. In fact, a lot of the dream episode could be classified as surreal. I mean, Tessa was giving me David Lynch movie vibes. I mean, flowing around the room with her scarf, singing this beautiful, haunting melody from the stage in the background while the drama's playing out in the foreground, just like a David Lynch movie, just like every David Lynch movie. And then there were those spooky transitions where Sharon kind of teleported around the town with the lighting changes. I mean, the lighting was, I don't know if you noticed the jazz club lighting. They had some different floodlights in the background shining up, so it looked shadowy and spooky, and Sharon looked ghost-like or angelic ghost-like at points. And Billy had a narrator-like control over the situation. Like, almost like he was a narrator, but he was also kind of a puppet master. He was able to manipulate Phyllis in the dreams. In the dream. Like, he said, "Do you want to play cards?" And Phyllis says, "Yes, for some strange reason I do." I mean, that's weird. That was weird. And the whole episode, in fact, was very avant-garde. I'm thinking that the Emmy that Y&R just won for writing maybe just got earned. I'm not sure if they earned it in 2023, but this was weird and kind of great. But I can see how some people would not like it. So that's our poll question for this week at yrchat.com. Did you like Sharon's dream episode, or was it just too totally weird for you? I think it was a refreshing twist on, like the usual Christmas store or Christmas. What's the name of the Ebenezer Scrooge one? Like that type story that we usually get, where it's like, oh, here's what your life would have looked like. Here's what your life could have looked like. Here's some alternate versions of your life in a dream, and then you'll wake up and you'll have that epiphany. I mean, we get that a lot around New Year's. That's sort of the format that we've gotten many, many times. But this was different. This was it was a twist, and I appreciated it. And I also thought that it was a nice, quick way to mark the change in Sharon's character's direction. Like, no need to drag it out. In one episode, Sharon and Chance are done, and we are back on the chic train, just like my little soapy heart has been dreaming of for years. Lily's gonna need to come back soon, or she's gonna lose my support. Because I am finding myself totally rooting for Heather and Daniel. The New Year's Eve kiss got me. I was like, yes, more of this, please. Uh-huh. But of course it got completely awkward. It would have to. I mean, the kiss wasn't planned. The feelings weren't planned. But yet everybody participated, right? Everybody showed up for the party, and then afterwards was like, maybe this wasn't a good idea. I'm referring to Daniel, of course, because it's clear what Heather wants, but Daniel is a little more messy with his feelings. And I really liked Daniel's conversation with Summer about it all, because he tried framing it as, well, I think Heather's trying to start something up with me, and I think she should respect the fact that I'm with Lily now. And then Summer pointed out that, okay, well, Daniel, if you were clear with Heather, then it shouldn't be a problem. Was he clear with Heather? Because I don't think so. I think that Daniel is unsure of himself. I think that his feelings are all mixed up like a pancake batter right now, and he doesn't know what to do with any of it. These Romalotti family meals are a real treat. Don't you think? I just love that this is a family who cooks together and then eats together. That is an amazing tradition, and we're lucky to be seeing it. And Lucy is lucky to have such a cool family without Lily in the way right now. I mean, it's basically a dream come true for Lucy, for her little teenage heart. Mom and Dad are together morning and night. Grandpa Danny is bringing the music and the chill with his new old girlfriend who's bright and beautiful. And oh my goodness, Christine, she feels like a girl again when she's with Danny. I mean, she just lights up. Did you see the way she just lights up and almost like spins around the room? I mean, she's so youthful and just gorgeous. She's spectacular. Spectacular. When her blue eyes light up and she's got that gorgeous smile, and Danny just returns all of it. I'm right back at her. They just light up the room together, and they're going to be going on a little trip together that we probably won't see, but that's okay because I'm just going to imagine it. I'm just going to imagine Danny and Christine snuggled up by the fireplace, maybe some snowy winter cabin, with Danny wearing his vintage silk robe. And all is right with the world. Somebody got a New Year's kiss on the cheek. Oh, what? Are you kidding me? The cheek? Sally has given Adam 2 non-New Year's kisses recently on the lips, and then on the kissing holiday, in the kissing moment, in the kissing hour, with the time when you're supposed to be kissing on the lips. She doesn't give it to him. That is so Sally. Defying expectations, refusing to conform to tradition. She's back, folks. She's back. Sally Spectra is back. And why not reel him in slowly? She knows that she has him. Adam has been a fish on a string for her for so long now. All she has to do is reel him in, and she's choosing to do it slowly, and I approve of that. And I look forward to their non-Valentine's Day Valentine's Day. I'm sure that's just right around the corner. Hey, can you believe that the Newmans are just now finally getting around to telling Adam about the fact that they were almost all mass murdered? The Newman family newsletter was really slow to go to print on that one. You're grossly misinterpreting my intelligence. Who said it? Oh, Lord, the answer's Devon. He was talking to Tucker, and Tucker said, "You're misinterpreting my intentions." And Devon said, "You're misinterpreting my intelligence." I don't know why, but it was a funny moment. It was quick, but for some reason it resonated with me, and I guess it resonated with a couple of you guys too, because Henry, Dolores, Wonderful Wendy, Diana, Justin, Brittany, Tony, Daisy, and Sharon W., you guys all guessed it right. And I have a new one for you this week, believe it or not. I think you're going to get this one. We'll see. The end is in the beginning. Who said it? The end is in the beginning. If you think you know, go to yrchat.com, and if you get it right, then I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. And now let's read some comments, starting with Victoria, who says, "Hallelujah! We are leaving CEO and COO battles behind. I love the focus on relationship, couples, and triangles. Yeah! So much more interesting, and I bet much more fun to perform." Yes! Hallelujah! Victoria, Y&R has heard our call. Thank you for all the CEO stuff, because I love those. You know I love those business storylines, but you can get too much of a good thing, and that's where we were. It is clear that 2024 is going to be a year of romance. We have been foreshadowed. Gary says, "Well, that was weird. And ultimately, Ray Rosales did not come back from the dead. In the end, it had been about Sharon and Chance Chancellor taking charge of their unformed relationship, with Sharon dumping him. At least Chance Chancellor had made his position clear in having wanted her over the lesser summer. But what stands out for me is the weirdo, apologies, charade, weirdo Tessa Porter flipping out like a fairy out of a Midsummer Night's Dream. And why does Sharon insist that she has finally found her niche in big business when we all know that she is more interesting as the professional psychologist that she is? As many of us here are, well, me. Overall, a big retreat, of course. Anything featuring Sharon, I have my eye on. So thank you, Y&R. And how about that Billy? Another senior psychologist. We haven't seen him head shrink anybody like this since Chelsea tried to jump off the rooftop last year. That is so good. And Charade says, "Ooh, about my Tessa." I just use different language for her, such as quirky, peculiar, misfit, or mysteriously alien, as Mariah called her once. I mean, honestly, I have to say Tessa was like the breakout star of that whole thing for me. Mysterious alien is a fantastic descriptor for how she was. Or, I mean, Gary, A Midsummer Night Dream Fairy is also really good. Like, the way that she was flowing around the room using the scarf, like, it was just magical. It was like she helped Tessa just about more than anybody else, helped form the fact that it was like this weird alternate reality. Like, she gave you the sense like, this is not real, this is not reality, this is spooky and weird like in a dream. I thought Phyllis really portrayed that as well. She was over the top in her way. She totally got it. And as Gary says, Billy also really brought the weirdness to it. Like, you needed to know that this wasn't a dream. Dreams are weird. And so all of the actors were given license to be weird in the dream, and I thought it was just fantastic. Naomi says, "Sharon's dream episode was entertaining, and I really enjoyed Tessa. I wish she would start singing at the jazz club, accompanied by the talented guy at the piano." Yeah, I loved that, and I loved the song, and I felt that the song really gave atmosphere to the episode very well. Sharad says, "As much as I like Sharon Rosales, I noticed, Billy, said Newman. The show left me kind of going blah. It was basically rehashing storylines. They literally restaged Sharon and Nick's non-wedding from 2018. I have to be honest, the only thing that caught my eye was how good Adam and Tessa looked together. But that is a no-no. But also I love Tessa's 2 dresses, especially the green one, and her performance. Also, I can't remember who it was that was pulling for a Tessa and Sharon coupling, but I have to say, when Tessa first put the scarf around Sharon's neck, it was a little sexy. It was a little like strip-teasy, and Sharon did have a moment of like, when the scarf hit her, like it was sensual. I feel like Tessa's was kind of sensual in it, but it was an episode about Sharon's love, and I feel like Tessa was embodying that, almost like a goddess fairy or something. But yeah, I don't know. I was just impressed with Tessa, and I liked the episode overall. But Henry says it had me fast forwarding. Henry had me fast forwarding most of the show. I couldn't believe that most of the show was all about Sharon's dream. I think she could have cut to the chase much sooner if it was about dumping Chance, which it was. I'm so glad now that the way is clear for Summer and Chance romance. Ooh, that rhymes. Summer has already made up her mind to follow her mom's advice and go after him. It remains to be seen, I guess, if Chance will not be too heartbroken to move on with Summer. I hope so, as I think that Summer and Chance are a better match. Yeah, it was odd that Summer was sort of choosing to fight for him right at the exact moment that Sharon was choosing to not. It's almost too easy in a way. I'm guessing that this episode was the writer's way of resetting the board for that particular point. Like, we don't want to spend the time to break Sharon and Chance up. Let's use an opportunity to do our New Year's Eve dream episode, which we always do, to just reset the board on that one. But how interesting are Chance and Summer going to be when now there's no conflict? I mean, there's really nothing standing in their way. It's just, is it going to be a clear path, or are we going to see maybe Summer having some feelings for Kyle show back up? I mean, Kyle and Harrison were in the dream. Is it possible that there's going to be a conflict there somehow, or what? I don't know. But Astra also did not like the Friday episode, saying, I've made it no secret that I don't like the Nick and Sharon pairing, so I wasn't feeling this episode because it was about her feelings for Nick, which to me came out of nowhere. I don't feel that Nick or Sharon has given the audience hints that they have romantic feelings for each other as of recently. They've just been good friends to each other. Nothing more, nothing less. If they wanted to do a dream sequence thing with Sharon, I would have preferred her love life be left out of it and be about whether she really wanted to do her career or maybe something about her parents. Does she want to be an owner of a coffee house, a therapist, run a big company, or do all three? Or we could have seen Sharon's mom again, which would have sent her on a journey to finding out who her father is. Any of those options would have been better than the forced way of them trying to put her back with Nick. Well, Astra, that's a fantastic point, because there have been no hints of Sharon and Nick pining for each other. And then all of a sudden, in this one episode, Sharon's thinking about how Nick's the one for her. You're right that the episode really should have been about Sharon and her career direction, or what it is exactly that she wants for herself above and beyond her love life. But Sharon W. says Sharon's dream sequence on Friday was so intricately presented. I hope most chatters enjoyed it as much as I did. It had so many moving parts. First of all, it was told like a Christmas carol. Yes, that's the one I was looking for, which I'm sure the writers was their intent. Also, Sharon Case was amazing, to say the very least, and all the other characters played their parts beautifully. The movement of the scenes to different locations made the story spellbinding. At Crimson Lights, Sharon participated in a reenactment of her wedding to Nick at the athletic club. Adam told her that it was her dream in which she could follow or lead. In the lounge, couples were dancing while Kate Fahrenbach sang beautifully. Every character was trying to help Sharon, although she was having trouble figuring out if Nick was really her destiny. So notable was the great dialogue and beautifully coordinating outfits worn by all the characters. Thank you, Y&R. Oh yeah, Sharon W., that was great. And I love that you are mentioning the flow and the transition of the episode. Yeah, that was appreciated. The styling was also very beautiful. And yes, Sharon Case looked beautiful, gave us all the emotion, all of the classic Sharon. Everything we think of about Sharon was right there in that Sharon episode. Beautifully presented. Dolores says, the Sharon Dream Show gave me an entirely different look at her conversation with Summer, then and especially Chance. I'm even more in awe for her as she's so assured of who she is, what she wants, and where she is presently in her life. I don't know what her eventual love life will come to be, but she will be a dynamic force to have as well as share their life with. Sharon knows presently that she is okay just where she is now and does not need a love relationship or is striving to be in love. I think that said, the writers are moving in a Nick and Sharon reunion direction, or it'll be the new guy that's coming to Y&R. I think I mean, it's a good question. Is it too obvious that we're headed back to a Nick and Sharon reunion? Is that maybe a red herring? We do have a new guy coming onto the show from Soap Opera Digest. A familiar face is coming to Genoa City. Soap opera Brian Gaskill is joining the cast of The Young and the Restless in the newly created role of Seth. I think I heard that he is somehow going to have something to do with Nikki's story, but it is certainly possible that he can become a new hunk for someone. I looked him up. You'll recognize him. If you look him up, Seth Gaskill, you'll recognize him because he's been on a lot of soaps. He's done a lot of stuff. You'll see his face, and we'll see him presumably in the coming weeks, and it would be interesting to see if that is a direction, someone that ends up hooking up with Sharon. Alternate ideas here. Daisy says, I loved Sharon's dream sequence. It seems like it might be leading toward a Nick and Sharon reunion, which I'd love to see, but maybe they'll do the same thing with Nick, so his true feelings about Sharon will be revealed, which may not be the same as Sharon's. Oh, I like that. Wouldn't that be interesting if we did something similar with Nick's character, only it reveals that he doesn't feel the same way about Sharon as she feels about him. Kamna says, Sharon looked particularly angelic during her creepy goth dream. I enjoyed it. I wish she hadn't broken it off with Chance, but I guess they didn't want to make Summer a villain. Was there some foreshadowing there, though, with the kid? What I'd love to see is Chance hook up with Audra. Ooh, that's an interesting idea. Well, there's two opposites. Yeah, again, Summer and Chance, it's kind of easy, isn't it? And I like it, but it's almost too easy. Tony says, I like a triangle. I would like to see Ray and Dylan both have been sent off to an assignment and come back for a who is really married to Sharon triangle. Chance can be there too, and then shift to Summer. Oh, that's interesting, Tony. I love that idea. Because I saw an article that Steve Burton just left Days of Our Lives. I didn't even know he was on Days of Our Lives. So maybe he would be free to come back as Dylan on The Young and the Restless, and only to let Sharon realize that she's actually technically still married. I don't see them resurrecting Ray, but I mean, it's interesting that they didn't bring him back at all for the episode, because they easily could have. But yeah, I love that idea as a little bit of an unexpected twist. Diana says, I had wanted to see Sharon with Adam when he first came back to the show. The show decided to go in a different direction as he was with Chelsea and now back with Sally. But I would really love to see Sharon in a relationship with Billy. I think they would have a lot of chemistry together. Billy's a bad boy type that Sharon also finds attractive, as we've seen from her history with men. I don't find Billy and Chelsea very exciting, and definitely think Sharon and Billy would make a better match. They can keep each other balanced and focused and be there for one another in their times of need. Also, the relationship would be fresh and new, although they did sleep together once a long time ago, which is intriguing. I hope Y&R considers this pairing, as it's time for a mix-up with some of these characters' relationships. While we're mixing up the relationships, I realize I wouldn't mind seeing Nick and Audra together. That would be hot. Ooh, Nick and Audra. Okay, I like that. I do like that. And Sharon and Billy, yeah. I mean, I think Billy and Chelsea are nice. But nice is only going to last for so long. I kind of wonder if Billy and Lily are going to kind of resurrect something now that he's back to Chancellor Winters. Well, Daisy says, next week's previews look like Nikki is drinking again. I may have said before, I don't like seeing Nikki go through this, but I love seeing Melody Thomas Scott acting all of these emotions. She is such a brilliant actor. Hopefully Nikki will find her way back to sobriety, and maybe it will be Claire, who's dealing with her own demons, who will help Nikki find her way back to sobriety and the inner strength that she had with it. Yeah, I wonder if Nikki and Claire could end up forming a bond over this. That's a good idea. Lara, though, says, I'm wondering if Audra will take advantage of Nikki's illness. She can see that Nikki is in a weakened state and that her business smarts are perhaps dulled. It would be in Audra's wheelhouse for sure. She could allow or facilitate some critical errors by Nikki, resulting in Newman Media being lost to McCall. Today, Audra seemed really understanding and supportive to Nikki. Possibly over time, Nikki may come to trust and rely on Audra, and then boom. Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. I totally took Audra for her word. I took it as genuine concern, but you're right. Audra's one to always be looking for an opportunity. New topic. Naomi says, Danny Romalotti. I am enjoying this character so much. He fills each scene with vitality. He walks into the apartment and wraps an arm around Daniel's neck and then pulls him into a kiss quickly. This is a wonderful demonstration of affection that any son would tolerate because Danny didn't linger or gush around. I also enjoyed his guidance offered about Heather, although Daniel appears to be in denial. Yeah, and even Gary says, yes, Danny is an upper. I totally agree. Victoria says, Michael Damian has so smoothly slipped into the landscape of Genoa City. It seems he never left. He's handling being a potential lover and parental counselor so beautifully. I didn't realize what a great addition he would be. He has invigorated the Romalotti clan. Oh, I couldn't agree more, and I can't say it better myself. Naomi makes an interesting observation here, saying, Danny is one of the few characters that's actually happy. Nick, Adam, Chance, Jack, Victor all may smile here and there, but don't display joy for the day. Jack has been full of smiles, but his obsession with Tucker is robbing him of any lighter moments. Yes, I know life is kicking these guys around, and apparently Danny is just breezing through life with little drama. And of course, this will change when Phyllis and Christine fight over him like chihuahuas with only one toy between them. This is a great observation, Naomi. I mean, Danny, he does exude joy for the day. You're also right that it's almost like Danny hasn't been around long enough to be miserable. He hasn't been around long enough to really let the misery sink in. So I guess we gotta enjoy it for now, but give it time. Well, Sharon W. says, I'm really loving Cole in this role. He has such a tender side toward Claire already and seems to want to make up for all the time he lost with her and also Victoria. Yeah, and also Ashley too, because Sharon W. also says next week's previews look amazing. Cole tells Ashley she looks beautiful, and Nikki is definitely intoxicated and will need help from Lauren. And my favorite, I'm still hoping for the reunion, Adam and Sally toast to us. Yeah, I mean, Nikki getting some help from Lauren is a big surprise. Adam and Sally, yeah, the reunion is happening. But yeah, the Cole and Ashley connection totally went over my head. I forgot. I mean, they were married. So I think Y&R has done a really good job of bringing back some of these classic characters and really jogging our memories and making us remember these old storylines, but also breathing some new, fresh life into the show. So it's like we got the old nostalgia, but it's being bolstered up by new stories. And that truly is a good way to kick off 2024. I'm a happy fan. I am a happy fan this week. Why don't you go to yrchat.com and tell me if you are a happy fan this week? I have to say, I went to the website and was starting to look through comments this week, and I noticed that the first 5 comments there all started with, I am loving the blah blah blah, or I appreciate the blah blah blah, or all of the most recent comments were, here's something I like about the show. And yeah, that ebbs and flows depending on how good the show is to the individual at the time. But I also think it really speaks just to the general positivity of the Y&R Chat crew. I just want to say thank you, because a lot of the other soap sites you go, if you dare to look at the comments, it is usually rot. It is usually, and that's for any fan base, of course. But Y&R Chat, I just looked at it and I'm like, oh, wow, these are it wasn't coordinated, it wasn't planned, it was just oh, these are positive people making positive comments, and I just can't tell you what a difference that makes. And in also my helping me continue to want to do Y&R Chat, it's just oh yeah, let's love the show. That's what we're here for. Love the show. So thank you for that. But feel free to vent. That being said, feel free to vent at yrchat.com. That is what it's all there for. We can all be grumpy fans sometimes. But I think this week was fun. I'm having a good time, and I hope you are too. And I hope you come back next Sunday for some more fun. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.